I don't know if you know, but over the next 3 years, 3 billion people will be coming online for the very first time. That's 3 billion people who have never bought, uploaded, or sold anything online before. And I believe it represents one of the greatest periods of opportunity for the speakers in this room. They're called the rising billions. Now, here's the thing about these rising billions. People like Ritu from Asia, Africa, and South America, when they look for their experts and thought leaders to inspire, educate, and entertain them, they go online first. What message do you want to share with these rising billions? You know, it was the book, the written form, that was the medium of the authority or the expert. To be an authority, you had to be an author. But for the global billions, the rising billions, they go online. They go to Weibo, they go to YouTube, they go to Snapchat to find their authorities on the subject. Now, if I'd have been in this room 12 months ago, I would have been the guy sitting way at the back of the room. No one in the speaking industry knew who I was. I'd never been paid to speak on stage before. But I had something within me I had a message that I wanted to share with the world. What I'd like to share with you over the next 15 minutes is how you can use something called online summits to be able to share your message with these rising billions. I was brought up in Scotland, the land of whiskey, golf, and Braveheart. And my parents used to send me up to walk up the summits of mountains dressed in a kilt. So imagine walking up these mile-high mountains in the rain and the wind while wearing a skirt. It builds resilience and character. But around the time this photo was taken, I attended a talk by the creativity speaker Edward de Bono. Now, there was nothing flash about him as a speaker, but his ideas were dazzling. As he spoke, he would make little diagrams which were projected onto the screen behind him because he knew that it's stories that make people listen, but it's visuals that make people remember. It was that man and his mission and his message that made me want to become a speaker, but it would be 30 years before I decided to follow that dream. So de Bono gave me that first sense that it was possible to become a speaker. But as I said, no one knew who I was in the speaking business. I was at the bottom of this mountain looking up, but I knew I wanted to become a global speaker and travel the world speaking. And the first step to becoming a global speaker was changing my paradigm from instead of thinking, how do I speak to rooms of people in my own country, to how do I use my voice to spread a message to global audiences on global stages. As soon as you make that step, from instead of thinking of yourself as just an American speaker, or a Canadian speaker, or a British speaker, but as a global speaker, you're entering a whole new world. So, as it was previewed there, the first 20 years of my working career, I worked in the music industry. I managed the careers of rock stars and global music artists. I worked with multiple Grammy Award winners, members of the Rolling Stones. I personally booked over 3,000 live shows. And one of the things, whether you're a global rock star or you're a global keynote speaker, the biggest challenge you're thinking about just now is how can I reach this global audience? How can I share my message and my brilliance with this global audience? You know, if you speak 100 times a year to rooms of 1,000 people, your ideas are still only going to reach the eyes, minds, and hearts of 100,000 people. So how do you step beyond that? It's impossible to speak to the millions and billions by speaking live on stage. You have to do something slightly different. You know, when that CEO in Shanghai is looking to bring in a speaker to share the insights on this topic that you speak on, is it going to be you that you discover? When that association in Mumbai wants to bring someone in to share the latest strategies and tactics on your topic, will it be you that you discover? Your biggest challenge that you have today to reach this global audience is one of discoverability. I don't know, how many people here saw Oprah Winfrey's, the Golden Globe closing speech, the speech she did? Wasn't that just like, I give up. That is an incredible, incredible speech. But how did Oprah end up on that stage that night? How did we first discover Oprah? You know, for 20 years, the Oprah Winfrey Show was beamed into the living rooms of millions of Americans' homes, where she interviewed other experts and thought leaders as they shared stories on how to live your best life. So as we start to think about someone like Oprah, I start to think, how can I learn from someone like Oprah to reach this kind of global audience? What would Oprah do in this circumstance? And I suddenly realized I had to move to reach this global audience from just being the sage on the stage to also being the guide on the side. To be able to not just interview not just be like the kind of how I did it all the time, but look at how others have achieved success in their topic or their field, and then share those stories with others. So that began me to go on this quest of thinking about how I could use that sage on the stage mentality to be able to start reaching this global audience. This week alone, I've had the good fortune, I've been asked to speak in Moscow, in Singapore, and in San Francisco. But if, everyone in this room knows more about the speaking business than I did 12 months ago. I managed to do this very, very quickly to be able to start speaking on these places. And the way that I was able to do this was by doing something called online summits. So what I suddenly thought is, how can I reach this audience and start to let them know about my brand as a speaker? So what I did is I started thinking, how can I strategically, over the course of 12 months, build my audience and build a global speaking business? And the way that I found to do it was through online summits. Now, if you've never heard of an online summit is essentially where you will interview maybe 20, 30 thought leaders in your topic. And then over the course of maybe 1 to 2 weeks, these interviews are dripped out, and people that are attending are given access to this content. So what happens with these is people register, they sign up for free to attend, and they can watch for a limited time, or they can upgrade for lifetime access. There's online summits today happening in every imaginable topic, from things like cryptocurrency, to marketing, to leadership, and sales. So what I started to think is, how can I use this idea of the online summits to start reaching this audience? This afternoon, I'm going to be talking to you about, in one of the labs, I think it's in Grand Ballroom 3, I'm going to be sharing how you can create your own online summit to be that guide on the side in order to get yourself the gigs for being the sage on the stage. The reason that associations and corporations now are bringing me in to speak is because, and to be that sage on the stage, is because they first discovered me as the guide on the side. I'm going to show you how you can do it as well. So in that session this afternoon, I'm going to take you through the 5 steps or stages for creating your own online summit. In the time that I've got just now, I'm just going to give you some insights on the first and the last stage, which is the ideation stage and the evergreen stage. So, I think it was Michael yesterday from MGM Resorts mentioned Simon Sinek's Start With Why. Incredible way that you use a very simple conceptual model to explain something. It was very powerful. So there's 3 reasons why you might want to create your own online summit. And those are positioning, partnering, and promotion. The first summit I ever created, which was 12 months ago, was called the Creative Life Summit. And the reason I created it, my reason why, was because I wanted to position myself as the authority on the topic on which I speak. I speak on creativity and artificial intelligence. So over the course of a month, I interviewed 40 of the world's leading experts, authors, speakers on creativity and innovation. When we opened registrations, we had people from 80-plus countries register on that particular summit. It very quickly allowed me to kind of build a position and build an authority in this industry almost overnight. I started getting inquiries from book publishers to people, associations that wanted me to come and speak. So what is your topic? What is a topic that you can create and you could really own an online summit on? A few months later, I really recognized, this is an incredible event being at this, but I really recognized I knew nothing about the art and the craft and the business of speaking. And so I decided to create an online summit about it so I could learn. I could be part of that tribe that wanted to learn. So over the course of about a month, I interviewed 65 of the world's best speakers and speaker trainers. Many of these people you know here. We had 5 Speaker Hall of Fame, 25 CSPs. When we opened registrations, we had 5,000 speakers from 120 countries that registered. Now, this was amazing for the people that attended because they got to learn from all these incredible, the best of the best. But for me, it allowed me to position myself again, but importantly, it allowed me to build relationships with other speakers and speaker bureaus that then got me lots of referrals and speaking opportunities. One of the guests I had in that was the incredible Erin Gargan. Erin, are you in here today? Yeah! So Erin's a rock star. You know, she is an incredible keynote speaker. And we had, what about if we created an online summit for meeting planners? What would that look like? You know, we could learn what the biggest challenges were that meeting planners were going through. We would generate lots of leads for meeting planners, and also we could promote our keynote programs to these people as well. Now, Erin and I have a completely different style, different personalities. The way we present on stage is completely different. Erin has this wonderfully kind of laid-back, kind of Southern Californian thing, and I'm a little bit more British. So my wife says I'm Hugh Grant to Erin's Mila Kunis. But we had an amazing time creating this online summit. And when we opened registrations, on the first day, I think we had 2,500 meeting planners from all over the globe that came on, and it resulted in speaking opportunities all over the world. So if you don't want to create your online summit on your own, who could you co-host the summit with? Maybe that person is sitting right next to you just now. But the fifth and final part, where you start to reach out to these rising billions, is where you take your live online summit that you create and turn it into an evergreen online summit. So we figured out a way. Your live summit is really going to last for 1 to 2 weeks. But what about the other 52 weeks in the year? We figured out a way to be able to use automation to recreate our live online summits and turn them into evergreen online summits. So when someone now goes onto one of those summit homepages, it looks like the event's going to start in 2 days' time. They register, they'll go through exactly the way that they would if they were going through a live online summit. Now, when you do that, that enables you for 24 hours a day to be building your authority, generating leads, and bringing in new speaking opportunities. Now what we're doing is we're taking our evergreen online summits, and we're working with partners who are going to be doing them in Russian, Cantonese, and also Mandarin, and also in Spanish as well, in Russian, yeah. So this is going to allow us to start reaching into some of those territories where those rising billions live. And it's also, some of those territories have amazing speaking opportunities as well. So this afternoon, I'm going to be running a lab. If you just go out here to the left and then left again, we're going to be running a lab. I'm going to give you, I have nothing to upsell you, to cross-sell you. I'm a speaker, and I see the role here at the NSA is to give you as much value as possible. So if you come to that session, I'm going to give you my checklist, I'll give you my templates, I'll give you the email, things that I do, the processes, so you can create your online summit on the topic that you speak upon. You know, whether your goal this year is to build your authority, generate more leads, or just get more speaking gigs, then online summits can be a really powerful way to do that. Someone's going to be the sage on the stage for these rising billions. Will it be you? Someone's going to be their guide on the side. Will it be you? I hope you decide to come and join us today at the lab that we're running this afternoon. In the meantime, I thought I'd leave you just with this very short video, just to give you a sense of how much fun creating these online summits can be. My name is James Taylor, and I wish you great success with your speaking.
Hey there, it's James Taylor here, business creativity keynote speaker and founder of the International Speakers Summit. Today, I talk with the legendary Jack Canfield, Frederick Harron, with Michael Pope, with Tamsin Webb by Sally Hogshead.